The first time I heard her voice again, it wasn't in person. It was echoing down a hospital corridor at 3:12 a.m., distorted through a speakerphone I hadn't answered in 3 years. "Please," she said, "I know you can hear this." I was lying in a recovery bed under fluorescent lights that hummed like insects. The smell of antiseptic hung heavy. A nurse stood frozen at the doorway, unsure whether to interrupt the voicemail looping on my phone. I didn't blink. I didn't reach for the device. 200 missed calls, 300 texts, all from the same name. My wife. Or what she used to be. I stared at the ceiling, listening to her voice fracture itself into panic. That was the moment I knew the past had finally caught up with her. Not because she loved me, but because she had lost control. And I never forget a debt. We met when she was still memorizing bones and I was still believing in people. I paid for her prep courses, worked overtime, skipped birthdays, and learned to cook alone at midnight because she was always studying. I believed in the version of her that cried on my shoulder after failed exams. The one who said, "When I become a doctor, we win together." She didn't change overnight. That's a lie people tell themselves, because slow betrayal is harder to admit. The warmth left first, then eye contact, then gratitude. By the time she passed her final board exam, I had already become background noise. The day she got her license, she came home late, perfume unfamiliar, laughter still clinging to her coat. She poured champagne without offering me a glass. "I filed something today," she said casually, scrolling her phone. I smiled. "Malpractice insurance?" She looked up and smiled back. "No. Divorce." The word landed clean. Surgical. Practiced. Same day, same celebration. She signed like she was approving lab results. When I hesitated, she tilted her head and laughed. "Don't be dramatic," she said. "You know this was inevitable." That night, she went out with colleagues. I stayed home and read the paperwork. Dead weight. That's what she called me later. I found out I was dead weight who had slowed her ascent. I signed without argument and vanished completely. The signs had been there long before the papers. Phone turned face down. Conversations that stopped when I entered rooms. A new vocabulary, clinical, dismissive, superior. She corrected my grammar in public. Mocked my job. Stopped asking how my day went. Once, I overheard her on the balcony. "He's comfortable being ordinary," she said. "I'm not." I remember standing still, heart hammering, realizing I had already been replaced in her mind. Not by another man at first, but by a future where I simply didn't exist. That's the most dangerous kind of betrayal, the one that erases you quietly. I started paying attention. Not accusing. Observing. And what I saw wasn't infidelity yet. It was contempt. Contempt is the prelude. I didn't dig through her phone. That would have been emotional. Sloppy. I watched patterns. Her schedule didn't align with her hospital shifts. Her spending habits changed, hotels, dinners for two, purchases she never brought home. Her emails synced once to our shared tablet by mistake. That was enough. Messages from a senior consultant, professional on the surface, intimate underneath. Mentorship with benefits. I didn't confront her. I copied everything. Screenshots, receipts, timelines. Every discovery hurt. But pain has a shelf life. Once it expires, it becomes clarity. And clarity is cold. That was the moment I stopped being a husband and became an accountant of consequences. I didn't ask why. I asked how far, and how high she thought she had climbed. I disappeared the right way. No dramatic exit, no speeches, no warnings. I signed the divorce papers, transferred assets legally, closed social accounts, and changed my number. I took a job overseas under a research program she didn't know existed, one I had quietly been building contacts for while she was busy dismissing me. I erased myself from her narrative. Let her tell people I couldn't handle her success. Let her laugh. Let her colleagues nod. Because disappearing isn't weakness. It's positioning. Over the next 3 years, I rebuilt quietly. New credentials, new networks, new authority. I specialized in compliance, ethics, and institutional audits, the kind that don't announce themselves until it's too late. Hospitals don't fear scandals. They fear paperwork. And I became very, very good at paperwork. The collapse began on a Tuesday. Routine audit, randomized selection. Her hospital was chosen. I didn't lead the team. That would have been obvious. I designed the framework. Every irregularity was flagged. Every conflict of interest was mapped. Her affair, an undisclosed relationship with a superior, was logged. Accelerated promotions that bypassed protocol were highlighted in red. The day the investigation went public, I watched from a distance. Conference room, glass walls, raised voices, phones vibrating non-stop. She stood at the center of it, white coat, immaculate, hands shaking. I could hear her even from across the atrium. "This is a misunderstanding," she said. "I've done nothing wrong." The consultant avoided her eyes. Administrators whispered. Then the board's decision came down like a gavel. Suspension pending review. License under scrutiny. Career frozen mid-sentence. The laughter stopped. That night, she tracked me down through hospital records, through an emergency contact still tied to my name. 200 calls. Texts that shifted from rage to pleading. "I need to talk. Please. I didn't know it was you." I never replied. Silence is a language she finally understood. She lost the consultant. He resigned, distanced himself, and claimed ignorance. She lost her standing, her friends, her certainty. I lost nothing. From my hospital bed, I listened to her final voicemail. "I didn't think you'd actually leave," she whispered. "I thought you'd still be there." That was the confession. Not love, entitlement. I deleted the message. Revenge isn't about destruction. It's about correction. She thought success made her untouchable. I showed her that character is the only credential that never expires. I didn't raise my voice, didn't threaten, didn't chase closure. I simply removed myself and let gravity do the rest. Because the most devastating thing you can do to someone who underestimates you is to always prove them wrong, and live well enough that they can never reach you.